Former Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of New York and independent candidate Jim Walden. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
So let's start first with that lawsuit. If you were mayor, how would you handle it?
Listen, ICE needs to do its job in terms of getting at criminal migrants. We need them out of the city. The city should cooperate there. There are places where the sanctuary laws went too far. But at the same time, sanctuary laws are important. We don't want families separated. We don't want mothers taken away from kids. And honestly, I don't think ICE enforcement in civil proceedings is a great look for our due process of law. So I think that, as with most things, the president has some fair points. I think there needs to be an adult conversation to try to rationalize the way ICE immigration happens, and we can cooperate more and have more protection for the people that need it.
The city council has so far pushed back on any changes. How would you work with them on that?
Well, there's one change that is really critically important. There was a woman that was immolated. She was lit on fire on the subway. Her name was Debrina Kawam, and the migrant that did that was eventually arrested. ICE couldn't put a detainer, meaning holding him in jail because of the sanctuary laws. That kind of thing has to change.
Right now, there's a packed general election, and you have said that you want a poll to decide who should drop out and run against a Democratic nominee, Zohran Mamdani. But as you know, the candidate in the race before, Andrew Cuomo, the polls showed him in the lead, and he ended up losing to Mamdani by double digits. What kind of poll would you guys use for this, and what are you guys thinking about with this?
Yeah, so just a little bit of context. This is not in my political interest, right? I'm polling lower than everyone else. I have confidence that I'm going to surge. But at this point, it's really important that there be one free market candidate against the socialist agenda of Mr. Mamdani. And so I left the details of the poll open so that we could have collaboration among the four candidates. But it would be a very significant poll. We're talking about something more than 5,000 New Yorkers. And we would have the details worked out to make sure that there was a selection of people being polled that mirrored the 2021 general election. That way we could have as much confidence as you can have in a poll. Everyone would get to run their race between now and the time of that poll, and then winner take all. That's the way that we protect New York against the socialist, because just do the math. If the free market candidates, there are four of us, split the vote, then we're going to elect that guy by default.
Why is it so important that you guys try to band together and try to defeat Zohran Mamdani after he won the primary? Why do you feel like it's important to have only one candidate go against it?
So New York is not a socialist city, and there's a reason for that. We need a vibrant business and development community to get out of our problems. If your goal is bare affordability, vote for Zohran Mamdani. He's going to chase businesses and wealthy people away when we need their tax revenue. Wealthy people in the city pay more than half of the taxes that fund our safety net. So I believe that it's not a time for someone who's going to chase businesses away at a time when prosperity is within our reach if we dream, build big, and bring more businesses here.
Now, I know that Cuomo has also mentioned something like this as well, urging other candidates to drop out. I know Mayor Eric Adams says absolutely not. Curtis Lewa says absolutely not as well. But I know that you used to represent Cuomo back in the day. Did you guys discuss this at all? Have you guys communicated about this?
No. I mean, this was an idea that I had because I did the math, right? I was the one person that was not surprised that Mamdani won. We had predicted it about 2 months before the election. We saw what was happening, and now I can see what's happening in the general. And again, I'm a problem solver. I see a problem and I want to solve it. And this poll idea was an idea that I had, that David Patterson, the former governor, supported, John Catsimatidis, an important business leader, supported, and then only after that did Andrew Cuomo say he was going to sign on. I'm glad that he did, and I certainly hope that Curtis Lewa and Mayor Adams sign on as well, because at the end of the day, we should put our own political ambitions well in the back seat of New York's interests, and if the free market candidates are allowed to collaborate the way the Democrats did during ranked choice voting, then we will have an election where the free market prevails.
I know Cuomo wants that to happen in September. Are you looking? You said October.
Did you notice that? I said October. He pushed it back to September. Everyone's trying to game the system. I set up a system that was fair, that gave everyone an opportunity to run the race that they wanted to run. And I'm the one that didn't get a lot of attention during the Democratic primary because I wasn't a Democrat or the sitting mayor of the city of New York. So I want time to build my campaign, because when people hear my ideas and hear my solutions to some of these problems that are based on data and rational policy, I think they're going to come to the Walden camp.
So let's speak about you and your run for mayor. You describe yourself as the only independent candidate in the race. You have an extensive background.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Yeah, of course. So I came to New York in 1993, having kind of survived my childhood, slept on a floor for a year after I left my house the day after I graduation, worked odd jobs, put myself through school, and did really well through hard work and through opportunity that was given to me. So when I came to New York, it was really to reset my life. I was a federal prosecutor after clerking for a judge for a year. I had a great career. My work has been profiled in 4 documentaries and in 1 feature film. People don't know that kind of stuff about me because I'm not a bragging kind of guy. But for 23 years after I left the prosecutor's office, I spent half my time working for people that needed help, not for money, but because I wanted to serve. So indigent people thrown off the welfare, the food stamps program, the low-income housing community that had lead paint in their apartments. On and on and on, I did these cases because I wanted to make people's lives better. We have false choices that are being presented to us. We can have a vibrant free market and a robust tax base and have the greatest safety net in the world. And I'm the candidate that has a vision for both. I'm the only person talking about a program to lift the 29,000 kids that are born into poverty out of poverty through a specific program that's going to be funded by a much more robust development portfolio.
Now, you also just recently went skydiving, actually, to kind of amplify a message. So we're going to play a clip of that and circle back here in just a second. That's crazy right there. So how was that? I mean, and what message exactly were you trying to amplify with that?
The backstory was that I was making fun of Mamdani a little bit because he jumped into cold water as one of his first stunts. And I thought, okay, I can outstunt Mamdani. But the point here is that it's going to take bravery to solve the housing crisis. It's going to take bold policies to solve our affordability problem. I've put the work into my program, so I know they're going to work because I developed them in cooperation with the business and the real estate communities. So what I was trying to say there is there's nothing I won't do to solve these problems. For 30 years, I've been a lawyer solving problems, and that's what I'm going to do as mayor. So I'm a little bit scared of heights too, so it was challenging, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, I would definitely have to be strapped in with somebody because I don't think I could actually do the jumping part. But you have a whole platform. You have tons of platforms on your website, and we dug into those a bit. And so let's start first with your rent policy. You just released that this week, actually. Your plan is to lower the rent for roughly 250,000 severely rent-burdened tenants. Now, that's a little bit kind of a one-up on Mamdani, bit, who's looking to freeze the rent on just rent-stabilized apartments, but you kind of go maybe a little bit step further. Help explain. Yeah,
so the freeze the rents is not going to work. I mean, understand we've got a rent stabilization portfolio across the city. Most of the buildings were built before 1974, so they're not in good shape. So freezing the rents on landlords that are already struggling in Staten Island and Brooklyn and Queens is not going to help them. And freezing rents that are already unaffordable for 250,000 people is not going to really help them either. They can't pay the rent they have. So we really looked into the portfolio to figure out how many people we could help with a subsidy that was going to be based on a funding stream that would not upset commercial activity at all. And that's what we did. We realized that we could free up enough money with a very simple set of steps that don't need Albany blessing at all. We can do it from the city, and we can literally bring people that are paying more than 50% of their incomes down to 35. Now, many of those people are paying 65% of their income on rent. Can you imagine what that does to a family? You're a family of 4 and 65% of your money is just going to your rent. We can bring it down to 35%, and that's why Mamdani, he's got these slogan policies, but when you look behind them, there's nothing to them. We've got data, and we're going to produce results.
Now, you also want to do this by giving landlords a direct subsidy. How would you get this money?
So the money will be collected by 3 income streams: 2 belt-tightening exercises with the city budget that raises roughly $350 million, and then something that I call a microtax, which is on a whole wide variety of transactions, but it's less than 0.1%. So it's not going to change commercial activity at all. And with that money, we're going to lower the rent, but give the money directly to the landlords so they don't have to worry about non-payment, at least for that portion of the rent. I think that landlords are going to love this plan as much as the severely rent-burned tenants, and that's the way that I want to govern the city, which is not to choose one group over the other, but to find a solution that works for everyone.
Now, you also have a law enforcement platform, and you want to increase salaries for the NYPD. You're also proposing a new idea on how to choose a police commissioner, and you create a blue ribbon panel. So help explain how that would work and just how the idea came about.
So what we've seen over the course of the last 12 years are cronies being picked for jobs, and people don't have trust in their government anymore. And one of the things that I wanted to do in my campaign was to imagine ways to do things differently that will give people trust in their elected officials and their appointees. I could obviously pick a very qualified police commissioner based on merit, but I wanted to get people like Ray Kelly, the former police commissioner, Cy Vance, the former DA, a number of other people, Bob Ganley, a former deputy commissioner, and have them do a nationwide search for the best commissioner based only on merit, and then give me 3 names, and I would choose one of the 3. And that way people would have confidence in a transparent process to appoint these people, and it would give those people more credibility and more of a mandate. So I thought that that was an innovation that would help give people confidence in government.
And now you also, another part of your platform says you also want to rehire city workers who refuse the COVID vaccine. Are you worried that this could potentially set a precedent that, you don't have to follow the rules for this administration, but, maybe for the next administration, you'll get lucky?
This is one of those places where it's false choices. I believe in bodily autonomy, whether we're talking about a woman's right to health care or someone's right to either take or not take the vaccine. I'm a science guy. I believe in vaccines, but I'm not governing for myself. I'm governing for everyone. The mandates were fine. You could say to people, you must take the vaccine if you want to return to work. The problem was that the penalty was you get fired. It didn't have to be that way. People could have been furloughed. They could have been, most people weren't showing up to work anyway, so they could have had modified jobs. They could have had some sort of arrangement. But instead, they were just fired at a time when we need cops and firefighters and teachers. We're already short in all those categories. So I think the time to rehire them is long since passed.
Well, you have so many other platforms we could dig into here, including just opening up City Hall, anti-corruption. So we're going to have you back on very soon to talk about everything. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the discussion. Thank you. Congrats on your show. It's great.
Thank you so much.